Assalamu alaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. Sat Sri Akal, Namaste, and good afternoon to all of my viewers on Facebook for this mathematics free for all for everybody who like to take advantage of this free mathematics sessions. Uh, this is just a public service I have started since this pandemic started to take advantage of a little bit extra times I can spare from my weekend morning or early afternoon times to help and support the community members, all those students who are uh, looking forward to get some help in math. Because since I moved to this country, I always hear that math is a challenge, math is a problem, math is a difficult subject, and we don't have enough, uh, you know, I would say, uh, students are getting trouble or challenges with math. So I thought I should utilize my learnings and my education of mathematics from. I have done my master's in math, and I was a teacher in international school system back home in Pakistan. So since I moved here, I was involved in different community services. I was a private tutor in University of Toronto as well in my early days. And since that day, here and there, I'm helping my community members, my family, my friends, whoever needs help for their kids. So this is the main key reason I started these sessions. And I am actually holding these classes for grade 9 and 10. And I encourage all those parents who have their kids in grade 9, grade 10, or even they finish grade 8 and they will be moving on to their grade 9 in this next coming educational or school session, they can take advantage. Uh, I get some call from the parents and from students where they can go back and see the previous lessons. Feel free to search onto my timelines on my Facebook. I have posted these by lesson by lesson. I have assigned lesson numbers. Start with lesson number one. Once you buy a mathematics curriculum book or grade 9 math or grade 10 math, you can open up that book. I'm following the book. I can show you once again. This is the book I am using in my grade 9. And for the grade 10, I will be using another book which I can show you. Here is my grade 10 book. That is the grade 10 book which I will be using. So these books are available at Costco and you can buy them and you can follow lesson by lesson. If you have missed my previous lessons, feel free to go back to lesson number one, review that lesson, keep the book open, have your notebook next to you, do your practice questions in this book, and there are exercises at the end of each chapter. Do those exercises. If you have any difficulty in not getting a clear concept about any particular question, feel free to call me, message me, or take a picture of that particular part where you see that this section is not, clear to you. I'll be more than happy to help you out on one-on-one or video call, whichever is more convenient. But I'm sure that if you follow those lessons by one in a series, don't go to the lesson 12 or lesson 7 or 8. First go to number 1, then number 2, number 3, and number 4. If you follow that sequence, you will be okay. And I'm confident that you'll be able to grab all this understanding about these lessons. So today, my topic of today is that I will be just want to set up my screen. So today my topic is, as you see on the board, I said linear relations. Linear relations, before I go into the detail, let me explain you how these relations are depending on each other and which number is dependent and which number is independent of any value. In this very interesting topic, you'll be surprised to see in this mathematical linear relations, there are values which are dependent on the other value. So one is independent and the other one is dependent on this independent number. So this is how these relations get developed. The basic definition, which the next topic I'm starting is that interpreting points on a scatter plot. Just a graph paper, how we can make graph or how we can make or interpret those numbers on a graph paper or in a scatter plot. It says a scatter plot represents a data that displays the relationship or correlation between two variables. The x-axis represents the independent variable. Remember, I was saying there are dependent and independent variable. So the x-axis is an independent variable, and the y-axis is represented and is dependent variable on x. So an independent variable x is a variable that you can change. For example, if you conduct an experiment to see how long it will take for the different volumes of water to boil on the stove, the independent variable could be various volumes of water used, like 10 ml, 20 ml, 30 ml. So those numbers are going to be used, and the dependent variable y responds to the independent variable. So once you use number 10 millimeter, that's independent because this will give you the result and how much time it takes to boil. Then you increase the amount to 20, it will give you the answer how much time. You increase the amount to 30, it will give you the time. So that time is dependent on this volume of 10, 20. So these numbers which we are plotting in, they will be called as independent, and outcome answer will be called as a dependent variable. So in the given example, the dependent variable is the time it takes for the various volumes of water to boil. And when we plot these numbers, we have the coordinate plane. So I can explain you before getting into the detail. In graph plotting, we have different coordinates. So this position is called origin, right? And this is called y-axis. Y dash means negative axis or y-axis, and this is x-axis. Right? So this line is x-axis, and horizontal vertical line is y-axis, and this position is called origin. So this is our origin, and this is how we identify. And we have first quadrant, second quadrant, third quadrant, and fourth quadrant. So we have different quadrants. We call, obviously quadrant mean 1/4. So this is our main first quadrant. Then we go to the second, third, fourth quadrants, and this is how we find out the values of any number. So let me explain to you how we can find out. Let's say that if I have to enter a value, let me just change this one. So if I get a value saying that 3 and 2 means that if my value of, so when we have a value of x and value of y, so the way we write down the coordinate is, we write down the coordinate as this way. So the x coordinate value comes on the left side and the y coordinate value comes on the y side. This shows that for the particular relationship, the value of x we inserted gives us the value of y. So those, whatever the value of x is associated with the value of y, both together in these brackets called the coordinates. That shows, even if I don't say coordinate, even if I don't say the value of x or y, by writing a number, for example, 3, 2, once we have the understanding, we can easily see that 3 is x-axis value and y is y-axis value of y. So if I have to plot 3 and 2, how I'm going to plot on this? So let's say if I'm asked to plot x is equal to 2 and y is equal to 3, that means 2 and 3 coordinate. So let's, because on this board I don't have a graph, but I can just sketch a graph saying these are the number 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and on this 1, 2, 3, 4, and 5. So obviously once we use a proper graph paper, we always use the scale, which scale we are using. We are not going to that much higher level at this point, but just trying to explain you a simple way. So x value is 2, means this was a 0. So on x I'm going to count 1 and 2, and then y is 3. So y would be 3. So I will be coming to this point. So this would be my spot where I actually plotted this linear relation, what are the numbers I was getting from x and y on this graph paper, or I plotted this on a page. So this is how we can uh, represent those numbers on our graph paper. So I have some examples. I'm going to use these examples to explain you. So one more thing I would like to add before I go to the next level is that these coordinate could be negative. We can have a -2 or -4 or -5, and y value could be negative or positive. So the reason I was explaining in the beginning is, let me just go through again, is that this was our x, and we call x dash, or is negative side of x, and this is y, and y axis. This is our origin. Right. So now, just in case if I am given a number, say x is equal to 2 and y is equal to -3. So in this case, my coordinate will be written as 2 and -3. And now how I am going to, plot this on this paper or in this graph is, I'm going to use x2 mean 1 and 2, and y is negative. So negative will go down. These are the positive axis, and this is negative axis. This is positive x-axis, and this is negative side of the x-axis. So in this case, if I go -2, so this is the 1, 2, and 3. So this point comes as 2 minus 3. And once we did this one was, so this one was 2 and 3. So this is how, and even if it's both negative, x and y negative, then x can be negative, x will be 1 and 2 negative this side, and y coming negative this side. This will give us -2 and -3. This is how these numbers will be calculated. So let me give you an example so that we can understand better. We have an example given. It says the number of the days students were absent and the total number, which day and how many students were absent. So I have given a graph, or given, I would say, a table which I am going to use on this. So let me write down here, students. Chart says number of days absent. And students. So days is day number 2, there were 4 students absent. Day number 3, there were 5 students absent. Day number 4, there were 2 students absent. Day 5 was 1, and day 6 was 3. So if I have to transform this data into coordinate form, I can do it by writing, say, that I have a number 2 and 4, then I have a number 3 and 5, then my number is 4 and 2, then is 5 and 1, and then 6 and 3. So I can easily write down these in a coordinate form for more simplification and for more better understanding. So I know when I'm going to plot these numbers, it would be much easier if I write down into this format, because I have a learning and understanding about how to plot these numbers onto a graph. I can easily plug in these numbers. So let's say if I have to plot this first day, which first data collection, and remember the dependent and independence. So this is independent number because this does not change, because we are going to check the days. This can be changed, number of students can go up and down. So this is our independent number and this is our dependent number. Y's are dependent on X number, the first number. So let's say if I have to draw this 2 and 4, so 2 and 4 both are positive, and I'll be drawing here 1, 2, and this will be 1, 2, 3, and 4. So this is 2 and 4. The next was 3 and 5, so it would be 1, 2, 3, and the 5 here. So this would be 3 and 5. So I'm going to take off this here, 2 and 4. So the next was 4 and 2. So I'll go 1, 2, 3, 4, and 2. The next is 5 and 1. So this is 5 and this is 1. The next is 6 and 3. So this would be, say, 6 here. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, and 3 here. So right now we see that we don't see any regular pattern. This is all irregular pattern. The reason is because we are not collecting any data in a sense that, this is a very different example from the example I was talking about. Okay, how much time it takes to boil 10 liter or 20 liter or 40 liter, that's a different scenario. In this case, the data is that, the numbers are scattered across the board, but I was trying to explain you how you can use these numbers and how you can plot these numbers given in any data on this graph. So I hope that this was a little bit easier for you guys to understand X coordinate, Y coordinate, how these coordinate works, how we find out the positive side of X, and where we have to go if this is a negative X, where we have to go if it's a positive X, or sorry, positive Y or negative Y. And in the meantime, I'll just see if anyone has any questions coming up. I don't see any questions for now. So we will move on to another example to explain these variables for, how we plot these on the graph, or I would say that interpreting these numbers on a scattered plot. So this was a scattered plot, so we interpreted these numbers onto this plot. The next example I would like to share is there are example of a number of pizza slices and the price which can be used. I would like to take some easy examples so that it's much easier for you guys to understand these examples. So they have given us an example asking us to plot these numbers on to these graph. So this says that they have given us just the generic values of X and Y's, and we are going to plot them. So let's say that how we are going to plot them. So if the value of X is given, so X value is given 2, and Y is given as 6, 4. Then this is 6, and the value of 3 given as 11. The value for 4 is given as 17. So once again, just simple way, I always recommend when you get this kind of chart, just try to make them in a coordinate form so that it will make much easier for you to transform these number onto the graph. So if I write down this into a coordinate form, I can write down 2 and 6. That's my x coordinate and my y coordinate. Then I have 3 and 11. Then I have 4 and 17. So now exactly for 2 and 6, these are all x's, these are all y's. So I have 2 here and 6. 1, 2 here. 6 is 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and 6 somewhere here. Then I have 3 and 11. So I'll be going as 3, and then might be 11 somewhere here, because again, this chart is going somewhere here. So that would be 3 and 11. The next is 4 and 17. So obviously we can use the scale, but I'm not going into that detail where I can reduce the numbers to a scale point and say let's 3 is number is equal to 1. So it will be easier for us to draw. Obviously we use the scale measurement to draw the bigger number. But today the whole goal is to make you understand how these x-axis and y-axis number work, how we associate them on the graph, and how these 4 quadrant work, where the positive x go, where the negative x go, positive y and negative y, and then we can draw. So once we have a proper plotted graph paper, we can easily see how these numbers work and how we can utilize these numbers. So this was the main topic for today, the linear relations and how to plot these relations onto graph paper. I hope I was able to explain, and people have taken advantage of these lessons. Feel free to, first of all, I would recommend go and review these lessons from 1 till today. And then if you have any question, contact me, and stay tuned. Share this information with your family, friends, parents, students, class fellows who are interested in learning mathematics free for all on Facebook Live every Sunday at 1 o'clock. If there's any change, apparently next Sunday, not the next Sunday, the Sunday of August, I might have to make a change to Saturday, but I'll announce on Facebook whether it's on Saturday, because the next that Sunday we will have a live event, another event going for the William Osler Friends of Osler Association event, which we love to attend, and I'll be joining that event on that day. So please, looking forward to get your feedback, and if you have any question, contact me, share with your families and friends, and hopefully I'll see you guys next Sunday. Thank you, and have a wonderful Sunday. I know we had a tornado warning and alert came in. I hope everybody is safe, and let's pray to God that He will keep and protect all of us who are living in this area and around the world through this pandemic. Thanks, and have a wonderful weekend.